Anna woke up at 3 in the morning with her heart racing. It wasn't a nightmare. It was worse. It was the feeling that something terrible was about to happen without knowing what. The air seemed to vanish, even with the window open. Her hands trembled. Her mind spun in circles, searching for a threat that didn't exist. At 32 years old, a marketing executive at a multinational company, Anna had achieved everything she once dreamed of. Her own apartment in the neighborhood she always wanted, a solid career built with sacrifice and dedication, professional recognition that earned her invitations to strategic meetings. But that early morning, lying in the king-size bed of her 1,300-square-foot apartment, with a view of the city she loved so much, she felt like she was dying. And the worst part was that no one would believe her if she told them. How could she explain that a successful, independent, seemingly fulfilled woman was being destroyed from the inside by an invisible enemy? Anxiety had arrived like an unexpected visitor 6 months ago. First, it was just discomfort before important presentations. Butterflies in her stomach that she'd known since college. Nothing major. Then, it began waking her up at dawn with that sense of urgency without purpose. After that, it started appearing without apparent reason. At the supermarket, between the cereal aisles, in traffic, waiting for the light to change, even watching television on her own couch, in the place that should have been her refuge. Anna tried to ignore it, to push forward as she always had. But anxiety didn't ask permission. It didn't negotiate. It simply invaded, dominated, hijacked every moment of peace. And the more Anna tried to push it away, the stronger it came back, like a wave that grows before crashing on the shore. The following week, the unthinkable happened. Anna was in the middle of a meeting with the board, presenting the campaign she had prepared for 3 months. Every slide had been reviewed 10 times. Every word carefully chosen. She was prepared. But suddenly, in the middle of the second slide presentation, her chest tightened. Her voice failed mid-sentence. Words jumbled in her mouth as if they'd lost all meaning. Her face turned red. Her hands began to sweat. The air in the room felt heavy, hot, insufficient. She managed to say she wasn't feeling well and left the room, hearing the awkward silence behind her. A silence that screamed louder than any comment. She locked herself in the 5th-floor women's bathroom and cried for the first time in years. She cried like she hadn't cried since her father's death. It wasn't just shame, although the humiliation burned like acid. It was terror. Pure, primitive terror that it would happen again. Terror of losing control in public again. Terror of her own fear, which had now taken form and presence in her life. 2 days later, the news arrived by email. The company had chosen Rodrigo, the other manager, to lead the most important project of the year. The international expansion project that Anna had been preparing for 2 years. The project that would have been her big promotion to director. The dream that fueled every extra hour, every weekend spent working. We understand you're going through a difficult time, and we thought it best not to overload you, the director said in the private meeting that followed, with that tone of corporate compassion that sounded like poorly disguised pity. Anna smiled, thanked him for his understanding, said she understood perfectly, and left the room with her chest on fire. Not from anxiety this time, but from humiliation mixed with rage. Rage at herself, rage at the anxiety, rage at having worked so hard only to see everything crumble because of something she couldn't even name properly, let alone control. From that point on, Anna went to war. Total war against anxiety, war against herself. She read dozens of scientific articles about anxiety disorders. She bought 7 self-help books that promised definitive cures. She downloaded 4 different meditation apps and tried them all religiously. She tried deep breathing, intense physical exercise, yoga, calming teas, natural supplements. She even tried cutting out caffeine, sugar, and gluten in a desperate attempt to find the magic trigger that explained everything. It worked for a few hours, sometimes for a whole day. But anxiety always came back, and each time it returned, Anna felt more defeated, more incapable, more broken, as if she were the only person in the world who couldn't simply relax and move on. The following months were a downward spiral that she watched like someone witnessing an accident in slow motion. Anna began avoiding situations that might trigger anxiety. She refused important presentations, saying she was focused on strategic work. She invented creative excuses not to attend company events. She canceled dinners with friends claiming exhaustion. She stopped responding to messages in the college group chat. Her world was shrinking, contracting, withering, until all that remained was the apartment, basic computer work, and the constant, obsessive, paralyzing fear that anxiety would return at any moment. She had become a prisoner of an invisible threat. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had achieved financial freedom only to lose the freedom to live. It was on a rainy Friday in July that Anna received the call from her mother. "Honey, you need professional help. It's not normal to live like this. You haven't left the house in weeks." Anna wanted to argue, to say everything was fine, that it was just a difficult phase at work, but the words wouldn't come out. Her throat closed up, because everything wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. For the first time since it all began, Anna admitted out loud, "Mom, I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything. Nothing works. I can't take it anymore." Her mother, with that silent wisdom that only mothers have, recommended a therapist, Dr. Helena. Anna resisted for an entire week. Therapy seemed like admitting final defeat. It meant publicly acknowledging that she couldn't solve her own problems. But that night, alone in the 1,300 square foot apartment that suddenly felt like a prison, looking at the illuminated city through the window, watching life happen down below while hers was frozen, she realized she had nothing left to lose. Or rather, she had everything to lose if she continued like this. The following Monday, she was sitting in the waiting room of an office in Pinheiros, hands sweating, heart racing, ironically anxious about talking about anxiety. Dr. Helena was a woman in her 50s, gray hair pulled back in a loose bun, serene gaze behind thin-framed glasses, calm voice that seemed to automatically lower the room's temperature. She didn't have that clinical, distant air that Anna expected. She seemed more like a patient teacher about to explain something important. "Anna, tell me, what have you been doing when anxiety appears?" The question seemed simple, almost banal, but Anna felt a lump rise in her throat. "I fight it with all my strength. I try to make it go away. I breathe deeply like the apps tell me to. I distract myself watching series. I try to think about other things. I count to 10, to 100. But it always comes back. And it comes back stronger, more insistent, as if it's punishing me for trying to expel it." Dr. Helena leaned slightly forward, with an expression Anna couldn't decipher. It wasn't pity. Perhaps it was understanding. "What if I told you that the problem isn't the anxiety itself, but exactly the way you've been fighting against it?" Anna frowned, genuinely confused. "What do you mean, I have to fight? If I don't fight, it will completely dominate me. It will destroy me." "Anna, imagine that anxiety is like quicksand." Dr. Helena paused, letting the image form. "The more you thrash around, the more you desperately move your arms and legs trying to get out, the faster you sink. The only way out of quicksand is counterintuitive. You need to stop fighting, lie on your back, float." Another pause. "You've been trying to control something that, by nature, cannot be controlled. And that desperate attempt at control is exactly the fuel that feeds your anxiety. Do you understand?" Anna felt a strange mixture of anger and hope. Anger because it seemed absurd, almost offensive. How could she stop fighting against something that was literally destroying her life, her career, her relationships? but also hope, a small but stubborn spark, because everything she had tried so far had failed miserably. Maybe, just maybe, there was another path she had never considered. "What you're asking me seems impossible," Anna said, her trembling voice loaded with frustration and fear. "You're saying I have to accept anxiety, live with it as if it were normal." "I'm not asking you to like it or celebrate it," Dr. Helena responded with infinite patience. "I'm asking you to stop spending all your energy, your entire day, your whole life trying to expel it. That you learn to observe it like you observe a passing cloud, recognize it without merging with it, and continue living, walking, working, even with it present in your field of vision." The therapist adjusted her glasses. "Anxiety isn't your enemy, Anna. It never was. It's just a miscalibrated signal, a fire alarm going off in a house with no fire. The alarm isn't wrong for ringing. It's just hypersensitive." In the following weeks, Anna began one of the most difficult, most counterintuitive, and most transformative processes of her life, learning to do exactly the opposite of everything her survival instinct told her to do. When anxiety arrived with its wave of panic and discomfort, instead of running or fighting, she stopped. She literally stopped what she was doing. She breathed slowly. She named it out loud. "This is anxiety. It's just anxiety. It's not real danger. It's not death. It's not madness." The first few times, it was absolutely terrifying. It felt like she was voluntarily surrendering to the enemy, opening the castle gates to invasion. But something strange, almost magical, began to happen. When she stopped fighting, when she let anxiety exist without judgment or resistance, the wave didn't grow. It stayed there, uncomfortable, bothersome, like a stone in her shoe, but not devastating. Not paralyzing, just present. But the real battle, the acid test of this new approach, was still to come. 3 months after starting therapy, the company offered Anna one last chance that seemed like a poisoned gift. A crucial presentation for an international client that could mean a multi-million-dollar contract. The old Anna would have refused immediately, invented some excuse about a scheduling conflict, but something in her had changed. A small flame of courage, or perhaps stubbornness, had been lit. She accepted the challenge. The night before the presentation, Anna barely slept, not because anxiety didn't appear. It appeared with full force, intense and familiar, like an unwelcome old acquaintance. Racing heart, sweating hands, mind predicting catastrophes in an infinite loop. But this time, for the first time since it all began, Anna did something different. She sat up in bed at 2 a.m, closed her eyes, and did something that would have seemed crazy 6 months ago. She talked to the anxiety as if it were a person. "I know you're there. I know you're trying to protect me from some threat you think exists. Thank you for trying to take care of me. But I don't need protection right now. I'm going to do this presentation tomorrow, and you can come along if you want. You can sit beside me, but you won't stop me." The next day, when Anna entered the conference room with 7 European executives waiting, her hands were visibly trembling. Her heart was beating so hard she was certain everyone could hear it. Anxiety was there, screaming that she should run, invent an emergency, anything but stay there exposed and vulnerable. But Anna didn't run. She took a deep breath. She thanked everyone for being there, and she began to speak. Her voice came out shaky at first, but steady. And then, something absolutely extraordinary happened. The anxiety didn't magically disappear. Her hands kept trembling. Her heart kept racing. But Anna realized, with surprise and relief, that she could function perfectly well even with anxiety present. She could speak clearly, think lucidly, present competently, even while feeling that familiar discomfort in her chest. The anxiety was there, but Anna was in command. The presentation was a resounding success, not because it was perfect or flawless, There were moments of hesitation. Her voice failed once or twice, but Anna didn't give up. She didn't run. She continued until the end. The client approved the proposal in the same meeting. The board congratulated her effusively afterward. But the real triumph, the true victory that no one but herself could truly understand, happened inside her. For the first time in almost a year, Anna felt that she had recovered something precious she thought she had lost forever. Not the absence of fear, but the ability to live fully despite it. Her own life, in her own hands. In the following months, Anna didn't miraculously become a person without anxiety. This isn't a story of magical cure. Anxiety still appeared regularly, especially in moments of pressure or change. But the fundamental relationship between Anna and her anxiety changed completely. She learned that she could feel anxiety and still do everything she needed to do. She could feel fear and still be brave. She could feel profound discomfort and still be at peace with herself. Anxiety had stopped being a prison sentence to become just another human experience. A year after the beginning of that journey, Anna was in a cafe in Villa Maddalena when she saw a young woman sitting alone at a corner table, breathing rapidly, eyes wide like a cornered animal, clearly panicking. Anna recognized that look immediately. It was the same look she saw in the mirror a year ago, the look of someone drowning on dry land. Without thinking twice, guided by a compassion born from her own experience, she approached. "Hi. Sorry to bother you, but are you okay?" The young woman looked at her with eyes full of terror and contained tears. I don't know what's happening to me. My heart is racing and I feel like I'm going to pass out or have a heart attack. I can't breathe properly." Anna sat down gently beside her, maintaining respectful distance. "You're having an anxiety attack. I know exactly what it's like because I've had many, more than I can count. And I promise, even though it doesn't seem like it now, it will pass. You're not going to die. You're not going to pass out. You're not having a heart attack. It's just anxiety. And anxiety, as scary as it is, doesn't kill anyone." The young woman looked at Anna as if she had just thrown a life preserver to someone drowning in the middle of the ocean. "How do you know all this? How did you stop having these attacks?" Anna smiled, a smile loaded with tenderness and genuine understanding. "I didn't stop completely. I still have them sometimes. But I learned something that changed everything. I learned to live with anxiety instead of fighting desperately against it. And when I stopped fighting, paradoxically, it lost almost all its power over me." They stayed there for 20 minutes that seemed suspended in time. Anna taught the young woman the technique that Dr. Helena had patiently taught her months ago. Observe anxiety without judging. Name it without identifying with it. Accept its presence without fighting. Continue living, breathing, existing, even with the discomfort present. As she spoke, Anna watched the young woman gradually calming down. Not because the anxiety had disappeared, but because she was learning that she could coexist with it. When they said goodbye, the young woman's eyes were still red and swollen, but there was a glimmer of hope that definitely wasn't there 20 minutes earlier. "Thank you so much. Seriously. Thank you for stopping to help me when I needed it most." Anna hugged the stranger with genuine affection. "You don't need to thank me. Just do me a favor. When you're on the other side of this journey, when you've learned to live with your own anxiety, help someone too. Pass it forward. That's the only way to give meaning to suffering." Today, Anna continues her life. She works on challenging projects. She cultivates meaningful relationships. She travels to places she always wanted to visit. She dreams new dreams. Anxiety is still part of her journey, an occasional companion that appears without warning. But it's no longer the owner, the dictator, the tyrant of her life. Anna learned the most important and liberating lesson. The peace she desperately searched for out there, in techniques, apps, books, and magic solutions, was always inside her, patiently waiting to be rediscovered. It wasn't a peace built on the absence of anxiety. It was a much deeper, more resilient, more truthful peace. The peace of accepting herself completely, including the uncomfortable and scary parts. And if you're reading this now and recognize a bit of yourself in Anna's story, know from the heart, anxiety doesn't define who you are. It never did. It's just a small part of your complex and beautiful human experience. You don't need to wait for anxiety to go away completely to start living fully. You can start now, today, at this exact moment. You can take a step, even with fear. You can speak, even with a trembling voice. You can try, even without guarantees of success, because true courage was never the absence of fear. Courage is feeling fear in all its intensity and choosing to live authentically anyway. And that choice, that small and gigantic choice you can make every day, every hour, can change absolutely everything. The peace you're looking for isn't out there in some distant and unreachable place. It has always been inside you, waiting only for you to stop fighting long enough to finally perceive it. And if Anna could do it, you can too. Not because you're strong enough to defeat and annihilate anxiety, but because you're brave enough to live with it, alongside it, without letting it write your story. And that, in the end, is all that really matters.